I never thought I'd be sitting here writing this out, but here we are. My name's Mike, and I've been married to Jessica for about 5 years now. We met in college, fell hard, got engaged pretty quickly, and then tied the knot just after we both got decent jobs. At first, everything seemed perfect. We had our disagreements like any couple, but for the most part, I thought we had a solid foundation. Jessica always had this fiery side. She was assertive, a little bitchy sometimes, but I liked that about her. She was confident, ambitious, and maybe a little arrogant. Still, I loved her. She was the girl I wanted to spend my life with. That was until about 6 months ago when I started noticing little things that didn't sit right. She'd be late from work more often, claiming she was just putting in extra hours. I'd call her, and she'd lie about being stuck in some meeting or working late. I didn't think much of it at first, thought maybe she was just stressed or busy with her job as a marketing exec. But then, I started noticing her phone acting weird. She was more secretive about it. Kept it close, even when she was in the bathroom or outside talking. She'd get defensive when I asked who she was texting. I caught her deleting messages once and my stomach sank. It was immature, I know, but I looked through her phone later that night. Nothing explicit, but enough to make me suspicious. Long conversations with her boss, Robert, about work stuff that sounded a little too personal. I knew she was ambitious, but the way she'd light up when she talked about Robert was unsettling. She'd call him the boss, but her tone was different. More flirtatious, maybe. I'd see her giggle at her phone screen when she thought I wasn't looking. It was like she was hiding something, and I couldn't shake the feeling that she was hiding a lot. Still, I told myself I was overreacting, that maybe I was just insecure. But deep down, I knew it was more than that. Something was wrong, and it was eating me up inside. A few weeks before the incident that changed everything, I started noticing even more strange behavior from Jessica. She became more defensive than usual whenever I brought up her late nights or her phone. She'd snap at me, call me paranoid or insecure. She even accused me of not trusting her, which I guess was true to some extent, but it wasn't just about trust anymore. It was about gut feeling, something I couldn't ignore. Then came the night of her parents' anniversary dinner. It was supposed to be a nice, quiet celebration, just dinner with family, some drinks, maybe some reminiscing. I got home from work early that day, eager to surprise her, thinking maybe she'd be more relaxed now that the big event was over. I'd bought her a small gift, a necklace she'd mentioned wanting. I wanted to make the night special, to reconnect after all the weirdness of the past few weeks. But as I pulled into the driveway, I noticed her car wasn't there. That was odd because she always parked in the garage unless she was running late or had to park outside. I checked the living room, nothing. No sign of her or her purse or anything. When I looked at my phone, I saw she'd sent a message around noon telling me she was working late and wouldn't be home for dinner. I felt a flicker of relief. Maybe she really was working late like she kept saying. However, something in my gut told me to check further. I went through her emails, her messages, her social media, anything I could get my hands on. That's when I noticed a strange email chain. It was from Robert, her boss. They had been emailing back and forth all day, but the last message was the one that made my stomach drop. It was about a hotel booking, a room for the night, and some private celebration they were planning. My heart started pounding. I opened a screenshot I'd taken from her email, and there it was, proof. They were meeting up and not for work. I felt like I'd been punched in the chest. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat on the couch staring at the phone, trying to process what I'd just found. She had lied about working late, lied about being at her parents' anniversary dinner. She'd been with Robert, probably having sex, maybe more than once. I didn't even want to think about it, but I knew. Somehow, I knew she'd been cheating on me with her boss for months. It was like everything I believed. It was crumbling, and I was left with this overwhelming sense of betrayal. The next morning was a blur. I remember waking up feeling numb, like my mind was trapped in a fog. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. All I kept seeing was that email, that hotel room, Jessica's face when she lied about her late nights. I felt furious at her, at Robert, at myself for not catching this sooner. But mostly I felt crushed. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, had been lying to me this entire time. And the worst part, She was out there, probably having sex with her boss while I was at home waiting for her, thinking everything was fine. I needed to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending like I didn't know. I waited until she came home that afternoon, not sure what I would say or how I'd react. She walked in, looking a little more exhausted than usual, and I saw that flicker of guilt in her eyes the moment she saw my face. I didn't waste time. I pulled out the screenshots and the email chain and laid everything on the table. Her reaction was instant. She looked furious, then defiant. "Mike, you're overreacting," she snapped, brushing her hair back. "It's just work. Robert and I, we're just friends. You don't understand how busy I am, how much stress I'm under. That night I was working late, I told you. You didn't believe me. I don't know why you're making such a big deal out of nothing." I stared at her, my chest tightening. "Nothing. You're telling me that hotel room was just about work, that you and Robert didn't sleep together." "Because I have the proof, Jessica. I saw the emails, the hotel booking, the messages, and you're lying now, again." She scoffed, crossing her arms. "You're crazy, you're paranoid. Maybe I should be the one asking questions. Who's really lying here? Maybe I'm the one who deserves an explanation for all your snooping." Her tone was biting, her eyes cold. It was like she was trying to turn the situation around and make me the bad guy, but I wasn't falling for it. I was done pretending she hadn't been betraying me, and I told her I knew everything. Her face twisted with anger. "You're making a huge mistake, Mike. You don't know what you're talking about. Robert and I were just friends. I don't owe you an explanation for my life. You're being insecure, jealous, and frankly, you're humiliating yourself over a misunderstanding." That moment, I realized she wasn't going to own up. She was going to keep lying, keep denying, and probably even try to make me doubt myself. I wanted to scream, to yell, but I just sat there, feeling the cold truth settle inside me. I knew with absolute certainty that my wife had been cheating on me, with her boss, during our own family's anniversary dinner, and she was going to keep lying until I forced her to face reality. That's when I knew I had to decide what to do next. That night I couldn't sleep. My mind was racing, replaying everything I had uncovered, every lie she threw at me, every smirk she gave when she thought she was getting away with it. I felt a mix of rage, heartbreak, and a deep sense of betrayal. Jessica had been so bitchy about her privacy, so defensive, yet she had no problem sneaking around behind my back, having sex with her boss, lying straight to my face. It was like I was dating a different person altogether. I sat in the dark, thinking about what I was going to do next. I knew I couldn't just let this go. I wanted to confront her again, get her to admit everything, but I also knew she'd lie, manipulate, or try to turn the tables on me. I needed a plan, something she wouldn't expect. I started devising a way to get more evidence, maybe even catch her again in the act if she slipped up. I didn't trust her anymore, not at all. The next day, I decided to do some digging into Robert. I found out he was married, which made everything even more complicated. Jessica was not just cheating on me. She was also risking her marriage, her reputation, everything. I felt even more betrayed and disgusted. I wanted to expose her, make her see how much she'd hurt me, but I wasn't sure how. I didn't want to be the emotional wreck she was trying to paint me as, but I also knew I deserved the truth. I started planning how to confront her again, but then, out of nowhere, she made a mistake. She left her phone unlocked while she was in the bathroom. I saw a message pop up from Robert, something about meeting again, about seeing her tonight after work. I froze. That was it. I had definitive proof now. She was still lying, still hiding the affair. My stomach clenched and I felt the weight of everything crashing down on me. That afternoon, I waited until she got home. When she walked in, I was ready. I pulled her aside and told her I knew everything about the hotel, the emails, the messages. Her face went pale for a second, then she started yelling, calling me paranoid, accusing me of invading her privacy, of ruining her career and her life. She told me I was psycho, jealous, insecure. But I just looked at her and said, "Jessica, I know about the sex. I know you've been lying and I've had enough of your bullshit." My voice was steady, but inside I was boiling. I needed her to hear it, to know I wasn't going to be played anymore. That's when she lost her temper. She started crying, screaming about how I was overreacting, how she was tired of my accusations. But I didn't care. I'd seen the proof and I wasn't going to let her gaslight me anymore. Honestly, I felt a strange mixture of relief and anger. Relief because I finally knew the truth. Anger because she had hurt me so deeply, betrayed everything we ever had. It was like my entire world had flipped upside down in just a few days. And I knew in that moment that I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay. After I confronted Jessica, everything changed. Her face was a mask of rage and guilt, but she quickly masked it with that bitchy attitude she was so good at. She started throwing accusations back at me, saying I was crazy, paranoid, insecure. She called me a stalker, a loser, and even implied I was overreacting because I didn't want her to have her freedom. It was sickening. She kept screaming that she didn't owe me an explanation, that I was overreacting for no reason, and that I was ruining everything. Honestly, I was numb. All I could think about was how she had lied, cheated, and made a fool of me. I didn't say much after that, just told her I didn't want to hear her excuses anymore, that I needed to think about what I was going to do next. I felt so many things: rage, sadness, confusion. I'd been blindsided by her betrayal, and now I was trying to process what that meant for me. Over the next few days, I started planning my exit. I contacted a lawyer, started gathering more evidence, and even looked into some counseling options. I kept asking myself if I should try to save this marriage or just walk away. Part of me still loved Jessica, but another part knew that trust was gone, completely shattered. I couldn't see how we could come back from this. I felt like a fool, someone who had given her everything only to be played like a fool. One night she tried to apologize, sort of. She said she was sorry for lying, for hurting me, but that she didn't mean for it to go this far. That didn't sit right with me. Sorry doesn't fix what she did. Sorry doesn't erase the fact that she was having sex with her boss during what was supposed to be a special family celebration. Sorry doesn't make her any less of a liar or a cheater. I looked her straight in the eye and told her I needed space, that I wasn't ready to talk yet. That was the last time she tried to speak to me about it directly. I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm still in shock, still processing everything. Part of me feels like I'll never trust her again, no matter how much she begs or how many tears she cries. I've learned that people can hide a lot behind a pretty face and a bitchy attitude. Trust is fragile, shattered by betrayal, and once it's broken, it's almost impossible to fix. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm done pretending everything's okay, and I'm never letting myself be blind to signs of betrayal again. Now, looking back, I realize how much I underestimated the depth of her lies. Jessica was always a firecracker, sure, but I never thought she'd go this far, cheating on me with her boss during our own family's anniversary dinner, lying about working late, then gaslighting me when I found out. It was like she was playing a game and I was just a pawn in it. I guess you think. You know someone and then one day everything falls apart. The aftermath has been a whirlwind. I moved out a few weeks ago. I couldn't stay in the same house with her anymore. It hurt too much to see her or even hear her voice. I've been staying with a friend, trying to piece my life back together. The hardest part isn't just the betrayal. It's the feeling that everything I believed in, everything I thought we had, was a lie. That maybe I was pretty naive, or maybe just stupid for trusting her so blindly. I've learned that once someone crosses that line, they don't come back from it easily, if at all. Jessica's constant denial, her blame shifting, her bitchy attitude, they only confirmed what I already knew. She's never going to own what she did, and honestly, I don't want her to. I want to move on, to find someone who won't lie and cheat and manipulate me. I've realized I deserve better. If there's one thing I want anyone reading this to understand, it's this: trust is a gift, and it's easily broken. Once it's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. Be careful who you trust and don't. Ignore the signs. Don't let anyone gaslight you or make you feel crazy for suspecting something isn't right. Protect yourself, because in the end, the only person who truly cares about your happiness and well-being is you. I don't regret finding out the truth, even if it hurt like hell. Now I know what kind of person Jessica really is, and I know I'm better off without her. It's not easy, but I'm taking it one day at a time. I hope someone out there learns from my story. Trust your instincts and don't settle for lies. Because the truth, no matter how painful, is always better than living in a lie.